People online love seeing a big muscular guy look like he's in pain. How's that feel?
Good.
Yeah, some of your feet, you were doing some balancing stuff.
Yeah, I walk on a slack line, a tightrope.
Mm-hmm.
So I walk on a tightrope, and then I do most of my leg exercises and stuff like that on a Bosu ball.
Okay. You said like a tight, that's incredible.
Yeah. One of those things I just decided to do one day and built a park, sort of a slackline park in my backyard, and practice and practice and practice.
I've almost died walking on the straight sidewalk. I tell people that like I'm a beneficiary of like modern medicine. I would have died at like 13. I'm one of the people I've actually run into like a light pole.
Oh my God, walking. Yeah, my first trainer that I ever had knew that I had a very bad ADHD, so I had to really push the exercises and stuff and combine them with a lot of balance and a lot of core so that I would not wander off.
Yeah.
Still this day when I count, I always leave out the number 7 whenever I'm doing exercises. So I have to always add more, like if I'm doing 10, I have to do 11 because I never count the number 7.
Huh. Like a superstitious thing?
Yeah, I think I just rush. I rush through life too much.
Okay.
And I think leaving off the number 7 somehow makes me feel like I get ahead.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's like everyone abbreviates when they like, you know, text. So.
Right. We haven't had a good new one in a while.
I guess some of the stuff I see on like TikTok, I like. They come up with new stuff. I'm just like, I don't know what this is. I recognize I got old when I didn't. It took me a while to understand what the word "yeet" meant. And then when I, found out, I'm like, oh, I just don't get that. I'm like, oh, I guess that means you're getting old.
Yeah, you think about our grandparents and stuff. Well, at least my grandparents never got on a plane their entire life, and it's just.
Imagine like talking to people my age or older, who deal with kids. I worked on a teacher who she didn't understand what kids meant by you ate that for the longest time. She's a musician, so she would do well, and the kids would say, "Oh, you ate that." Like, I don't understand what that means. I just ask my younger cousins sometimes. I get, is this a compliment?
Yeah.
Like, did they just insult me? I remember the first time I said something to someone, it was kind of like, what else? They were like, oh, that's kind of messed up. And the kid said, oof. And I was like, that was kind of rude. I didn't understand at the time. I was like, something you do like to like commiserate with someone.
No.
I don't mind getting older. I had my little breakdown 2 years ago. But that was just because I realized that I was now old enough that I can have an 18-year-old son.
Oh yeah, that's the tough one, yeah.
I was like, oh, there's some dude out there buying a cigarette legally and he could actually be my son.
I think mine is just watching, parents or kids or people I grew up with, now their grandkids are having, or their kids are having kids now.
Yeah.
And I still think of their kids as little bitty,
Yeah.
Like, she can't be getting married. She's only 7 now. And they're like, she's 28.
Yeah. And she has a 7-year-old.
Right.
And then I realized recently I view everyone under 16 as like being like a child. Like,
Oh yeah.
Like I basically view like 16-year-olds and like 10-year-olds as like the same thing. Like, okay.
Of course, we thought we were adults at 16.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
I'm 38.
Oh, okay, yeah. You're into those hard life lessons now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw a funny video on TikTok the other day. A guy was like, oh, Mom, Dad, can I move back home? Like, I understand like I have to pay for the mortgage, but no one told me I had to pay for the water. I don't know why I have to pay for the water.
Yeah, those hard life lessons.
You learn them more when you own a business. Like, oh, everything is a fee.
Oh, just the paperwork involved. People always ask why I don't work for myself, and I'm like, I'm the one that would steal the petty cash and all the stamps, and then be mad because it's all gone.
Yeah. Fill out so many forms. You're like, I don't understand why. Like, I already did this one. Like,
right.
Doesn't this cover this?
This is how much I took in. This is how much I paid out. So you can have these 7 pennies.
Mm-hmm.
I do like your business model with it all, all included.
Yeah.
It's gotta be, but it's tough. It's like I had to read it 6 times where I was like, oh, look at the price, and I'd be like, oh yeah, that's.
Yeah. Cause I mean, I don't like, I have a problem with like the chain spas, but like I don't have a problem with like the therapists who charge extra for like hot stones and things like that.
Yeah.
But since I do sports massage, I rarely just use like one thing on someone.
Right.
So it's like I've had a situation where I worked in a chain spa, and a client would benefit from 2 hot stones, but they pay $20 extra.
Right.
And so now I have to use 10 or more hot stones on them, so they feel like they got their money's worth, but I feel like I gave them a worse massage.
Yeah, gotcha.
And I also never like, if I tell someone I think this will help, I don't want to feel like, oh, I think this will help because you can spend more money.
Right. No. Yeah. I mean, we come to you as a professional, and that's like I expect you to find the bad spots, not me tell you what the bad spots are.
The only thing I'm going to charge extra for in the future is when I do kinesiology tape, and that's because it's just the brand I use is so expensive.
Yeah.
But if someone has their own of that particular brand,
Mm-hmm.
I won't charge them. So I'm just charging them for the tape.
I've used it a couple times and realized the biggest secret is standing in the shower once you have it on, covering it in its body soap, and letting it sit there for 8 minutes before you try to take it off.
Yeah, you do have some back hair.
Oh.
I learned that I have lower back hair. I didn't know
Was that a crushing moment for you?
Yeah, I didn't know I had lower back hair, but the tape said otherwise.
Well, I rode bike ride for a long time and shaved everything. And one day I was just like, you know what? I've just got a long drawn out problem. Luckily I've got good skin and never broke out or anything. One day I was just like, we're just gonna see what happens if it all grows.
Another thing about the kinesiology tape, I've done a little bit of it,
Yeah.
but it can get kind of complicated. Is to take it off is good to have alcohol.
Oh yeah.
It dissolves the glue. I have to look at the camera. I have in the past had experiences where it was not going. I was like, just 20 minutes for basically nothing. One thing I will say is that your shoulders are internally rotated, but that's extremely common. And depending on and you have the farm, right? I don't know how you work on that.
Lots of manual labor.
Okay. I'm personally not a big fan of nature. I tell people, if you see me out camping and it's not a camper,
right.
Or I'm in a tent, call the police. I didn't get that. Terrence does not sleep on the ground.
Yeah, ours is a fully functioning farm.
Yeah. And then I saw the camel and I was like, oh, now I'm afraid of camels because I've watched these videos about how they can be vindictive.
They can be very, so the males, if they're not cut, they go through a rut and they're extremely dangerous when they're in heat. Samson is cut. The one you should be scared of is Barco, the zebra.
Oh, okay.
He is very mean to most people. He's very sweet to me.
Gotcha. These videos, I was like, okay, dolphins are terrifying, camels are terrifying, donkeys are terrifying,
Hippos kill more people than lions.
Yeah. And then personally, I'm terrified of horses.
Yeah, they're high strung anyway.
When I was in high school, we used to go out to, a farm, and they would help. They would have mentally disabled kids, ride horses, and we would help them. But they realized I was not comfortable with the horses, so they put me on a horse
Clean up.
Yeah. Which, while not fun, felt safer. I don't believe the horse is ever going to kick me.
Right.
And every time I see a horse, I'm like, how did someone ever domesticate those things? They're huge.
Believe it or not, that most of the were more they've been bred to be big like that. They started off as very small creatures, so they were more like almost like a Shetland.
Oh, okay.
So they weren't big and majestic when all this started.
Oh, okay. that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, a little bit bigger than the Shetland, but nothing like they look today.
Because I see them like, yeah, I don't think I would ever like attempt to ride it.
Yeah.
But then again, I just don't like nature. I mean, I'm happy that it exists.
Right.
Like, I'm not a Captain Planet villain. I just don't want to be near it. Stay in a nice urban environment with, you know, the nature is like dogs.
I grew up all my life on a farm, and I always tell people my retirement is going to be high rise with white carpet, white tile, white couch.
Yeah.
I want the elevator to open up into my living room. No pets. I would probably lose my mind, but.
Yeah, I've never enjoyed it. Even when I would visit my great grandmother in Georgia, she didn't have any animals, but I was just like, it was just so far out.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't. It was the kind of place. I always say, you know, I want to live somewhere where someone murders me. Somebody can hear me scream. I'm like, yeah, here, if somebody kills you, it's a good week before somebody finds out.
Find you. By that time, the dogs have eaten their toes off.
Even squirrels. I was outside of a CVS and I had to make a phone call. This cute little squirrel. I kind of felt bad for him because I don't know why, he just, you know how some like wild animals just take a liking to you.
Yeah.
And he was like just following me on, like, hey, I just want to hang out with you. And I'm like, I don't know what kind of disease you have. Back away. I tried to take a picture because I'm like, I can't believe this squirrel is like,
in case you were murdered by him.
yeah, chasing me around the parking lot.
So what brought you from Florida?
I followed somebody.
No, no, sad.
I mean, it's Houston.
You
You
know,
either follow someone or you came before a job.
yeah.
Not that Houston's a bad place.
Any city is what you make it.
Yeah.
You know, there's plenty of culture. There's plenty. Have you done the rodeo yet?
No, I haven't. I don't know if I would say that. I'm not a big fan of Dallas.
Yeah.
I find the people in Houston to be nicer, and I find Houston to actually have trees.
Right. Not that you're an outside person, but it's nice to have them.
Yeah, it's nice to it's nice to see them. You know, I'm okay with like trees surrounded by concrete.
Yeah. If you get a chance, there's a gorgeous street two streets called North and South Street in the Museum District. And it is truly probably one of the most beautiful places in Houston.
Okay, I've probably been over there. I used to go running at Highland Park.
Okay, yeah, it's a couple blocks over. Great big huge houses on it.
Yeah.
A lot of people go out there to take photographs and stuff for weddings.
And when I first moved here, I was living in the third ward by Emancipation Park.
Okay, yep.
And my first few days here, I just took a long walk down Alabama Street.
Okay, yeah.
It was very nice. I like that Houston doesn't have zoning, so it's kind of.
You could put anything next to anything. Yeah.
And I find places like I think what is it? West University has better architecture
Oh,
than
yeah. Oh, yeah.
like Highland Park. When I was in Dallas for a year, and I kind of like when I was in Highland, like when I drove through Highland Park, like I understood the word gaudy. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that is just. I'm like, oh, okay, so it's like when you're rich but you don't have taste.
Right.
But then like I was, in West University, like, oh, I would love to live in so many of these houses. They're very like nice looking. And they're not all uniform looking.
Right. That's the thing. You go to someplace like Phoenix and stuff like that. I don't know how you find anybody's house because they all look exactly the same.
I just wish that Houston had a nice beach.
Yeah. It's funny, Galveston will surprise you occasionally. Like during this past drought,
Yeah.
it really turned pretty down there because all the bayous and stuff were empty.
Yeah. I've never been to Galveston. I flew over on my way to Houston and was very disappointed because I remember Wolf Blitzer going crazy because I don't know what some hurricane went over Galveston.
Right, yeah.
And he was just freaking out, like, I was like, I thought Galveston was like the eighth wonder of the world when he was talking. Like, Galveston's being destroyed. And I'm like, not Galveston. And I'm like, oh, it must be this like just beautiful like gleam is sitting in the sea. Like, I thought it would at least look like Destin.
No. Now you have to, there's pretty beaches. It's just going into the touristy area, there's not pretty beaches there. I mean, you have to go a ways down the island, sort of to find that sort of not white sand, but sand.
Well, he just made it seem like it was just gonna be like Atlantic City, or, as an island, and just this gorgeous, gleaming, resort. And I'm like flying, I'm looking for it, and I'm like look down, like what is that little island, that dirty
sliver,
And then I'm like, I'm like, maybe that's an island near Galveston. And then I saw Houston, and I'm like, so that must have been Galveston. And I'm like, I don't want to rain on anyone's parade, but I grew up in like Fort Lauderdale. I get to be a beach snob.
No, I agree. But it's fun, we'll have people come down here from like Iowa and stuff like that have never seen the ocean, and they're just, and again,
they're amazed.
The Gulf, and they're just amazed. You're like, and they just embrace it, and it's so.
That water's brown enough that if anything touches my face, seaweed touches my foot, I'm just gonna like die instantly. I'm like, I'm just not even gonna be able to see what's beneath me. Not that I've ever heard about sharks in Galveston.
No. You're not gonna die of a shark attack in Galveston. Jellyfish.
Yeah, that's another thing I'm afraid of. Which is why I prefer being in the pool instead of.
I'm a pool guy.
Yeah. I like going to the beach but not getting in the water.
Something that overlooks the beach where they bring you a cocktail.
Yes. And plus, when I look at like the ocean, I'm like, oh, that's just fish pee and whale semen.
And raw sewage from some countries that just dump it right into the ocean.
I want to be somewhere where I can smell the chlorine. Which is weird, it definitely wasn't like that as a kid. We go out by the canals and catch cane toads, which I'm like now I'm absolutely disgusting. We don't have them here in Houston. They're huge poisonous toads.
That's nice.
I think they do instruct you to kill them when you find them in Florida because they are invasive.
Invasive, yeah.
They're from South America. But they're poisonous, so like they don't have a lot of
Natural enemies.
Yeah. Some birds are smart enough to like eat them from the inside. So they'll like kill them, then open their mouth and eat them. But if you bite their skin, you're small, you know, a few cousins of mine have lost puppies who've bitten them.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah. If you're big enough, like an adult dog or a human, like you'll just get like sick. And they're very disrespectful. Most small animals are afraid of humans, but they're like, I'm poisonous. I don't care about you.
Yeah, I'll take you off.
Yeah. You just walk up to one and they just tap with your toe and it's just like looking at you. I was very happy to find out my dog growing up would not kill one because he was a Rhodesian Ridgeback.
Oh wow.
And he had a very strong prey drive.
Yeah.
Basically, if you run out a person or another dog, she was like, well, you just have to die. He even killed 6 of my neighbor's cats.
Wow.
And then one day, the first time I saw it came to life, I screamed at him and he was just looking at me like so confused. And I just ran out and grabbed him and I just took him in the house. And then I just took the cane tool and I put it in my neighbor's yard. Then the second time I went outside and he's like looking at me in his dog bowl. He's walking back and forth. And what's going on? I go in and there's a cane tool like the size of your head just sitting there eating his food. I'm like, well, at least I know you won't bite.
Right. Doesn't like the amphibians.
Other than that, he would kill everything. But just love people to death. I don't think he's ever met a human he didn't like. Worst guard dog ever.
Looked tough.
Yeah, people were terrified of him. It was very funny. And I didn't raise him well, so he would jump on you. But he's not going to try to attack you. He just wants to knock you over and French kiss you. The main thing is just keep his mouth away from your mouth.
We've got 2 Great Danes that are dumb as a box of rocks, but everybody's terrified of them.
And just then raise him to not understand that people don't like when a 70-pound dog runs at them.
Right. Full speed. That really feels good.
Yeah, you don't have too many problems up here. If you were very tight, you would not be saying that feels good.
No. Like I said, I don't carry tension in my back.
So is there a reason you have so many different types of animals on your farm?
Our main business is cattle. So we raise Irish Dexter cattle, which are a heritage breed of cattle. At one time, there were less than 700 in the world.
Oh wow!
They're and this is probably, if I'm giving you way too much information, poke me. But they're sort of the original breed of cattle. They're small. They're about half the size of a normal cow. And they're good for meat. They're good for milk, and they're actually good for oxen. So you could use, so if you have a small farm, you can use them for whatever purpose you need. And our current batch, they're 4 different colors. There's black, red, dun, and white. And so it's very much a genetic type market. So you can build for lack of a better word, you can build your own cow.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, you want a white, and then there's polled, which means they're born without horns,
Okay.
and non-polled, which means they have horns.
So even the cows have horns, not just the bulls?
Right. Everybody can have horns.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. And then sort of the most unique trait of them, and again, take this how you want, and then it's not for lactose intolerant people.
Okay.
But most milk you drink has an A1 milk protein.
Mm-hmm.
The dexters have an A2 milk protein.
Okay.
And so an A1 milk protein's pretty large.
Mm-hmm.
And so people that are, again, not lactose intolerant, people that drink milk and like, oh, my tummy's a little upset.
Yeah.
That's because they're having trouble passing that larger
see.
protein.
Oh, okay.
So the A2 milk actually is easier to digest.
I see.
So if you're ever at the store and if you look really hard, there's probably 1 or 2 cartons it's labeled A2 milk.
Oh, okay.
So it's just,
Yeah.
so again, we sell it to a lot of people that, you know, have children that are a little iffy on milk.
Yeah.
They can, you know, milk these cows and drink their A2 milk.
Okay.
So then the coon pigs,
Mm-hmm.
they're from New Zealand.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be basically God, now I can't remember the name of the meat. They're supposed to be the very best cut of pork.
Okay.
So we're raising those. Then we have milk goats, Nubian milk goats,
Mm-hmm.
and then chickens, some donkeys. I mean, most of the stuff is just like the camel and the zebra are just yard art.
Okay.
You know. But like the donkeys and the cattle and the pigs are all for sale.
I see. Yeah, I definitely don't drink milk. I'm not someone you want to know when I drink milk.
So definitely lactose intolerant.
Yes.
Okay.
Not
Yeah.
sure why it took me until my early 20s.
Oh no.
My brother he was lactose intolerant, I think around 8 years old.
Mm.
Me, it wasn't until my 20s that it seemed to hit.
Yeah, when they first started this A2 stuff, they're like, it's perfect for the lactose intolerant people, and we're like, yeah, not really.
Even though it depends on what I have. Cheese I can tolerate sometimes.
Yeah.
Milk, no.
No.
Ice cream, which is like the high fat content
Sure.
of ice cream, that's fine. I don't know why, but whey protein just gives me the worst gas I've ever experienced. Like it is like I'm like holding onto a counter crying. I feel like, you know, I'm in some like horror movie and something's gonna just burst through my stomach. So I have to make sure that the whey protein is micro-filtered. Also, how I found out I don't like chocolate. That's how I found out that white chocolate is not chocolate.
Right.
I had some. I'm like, oh, I feel so bad. It's like, oh, it's a milk product.